All right, here we are. So great to meet you here today in the spiritual healing perspective, and on the 23rd day of the. That sounds like gigantic, like the 23rd day of the 40 days awakening intensive. So I'm happy that you're here and that we can start together with a meditation, the meditation of today, and lovely to sink deeply into silence immediately together. Great, I'm ready for that. I don't know about you, but it is lovely to be in silence, to let go of what never was, and to come to a real experience of yourself in the present moment. Yeah, great. That doesn't need much words, but we found some words. It's like a miracle prayer that we use to literally give thanks, to give thanks, to express our gratitude, and to make sure we never forget that we are completely surrounded by the love of God, like no exception to that whatsoever. And I love that idea. I love to be, say, surrounded by that idea and dive deep into the experience of that. So I am surrounded by the love of God. Father, you stand before me and behind, beside me and in the place I see myself, and everywhere I go. You are in all the things I look upon, the sounds I hear, every hand that reaches for my own. In you time disappears and place becomes a meaningless belief. For what surrounds your Son and keeps him safe is love itself. There is no source but this, and nothing is that does not share its holiness, that stands beyond your one creation, or without the love which holds all things within itself. Father, your Son is like yourself. We come to you in your own name today, to be at peace within your everlasting love. My brothers, join with me in this today. This is salvation's prayer. Must we not join in what will save the world along with us? I am surrounded by the love of God. Okay, so later we will have some more music. For now, thank you so much for joining in the meditation. That's so lovely to be still and to dive deeply in this. And yeah, it's just a beautiful prayer. I love this one. So it's coming along, like it's coming to me many times. I love this one because it's so comforting. It's unbelievable. I'm happy to remember it with you, absolutely. So today we continue with the spiritual healing perspective, and that's an interesting say, development, you could say, it is interesting to see that you cannot, say, get yourself out of the equation, if you want. You know, it's like you cannot stay out of the actual occurrence of spiritual healing when you're so in it, when you're so busy with it. So it's going to do something with you. And you probably recognize that too. Yeah, speaking for myself, I have slept in the last 3 days a lot. Unbelievable. Like I never do that. And now, boom, there it is. So that was something that is completely different. Where is that good for? I don't know. It must be for healing, because everything that's occurring is now in this new frame of reference, in this new associative, say, sphere of awakening. So it certainly has nothing to do with my humanness, even though I might think it does. And so there are a couple of things today where we take a look at. So they're basically all related to time and to body. And that's interesting, of course, because we're talking here about spiritual healing, which is spiritual. It's not physical, it's spiritual. So now, how does the body fit into this idea? So I need your logic. That's one part of it too. I need your logic in the, and just taking a look at what is occurring regarding time and memories. So I need your like logical mind for just a moment, and then you can let it go again, because some things are really, they totally make sense. So the next, another part is then the idea of time and body. Like I said, body, and that is an interesting, say, discovery you can make about this body that you think you occupy, and that is so, say, in the middle of this process, and it has to be like that too. So I don't know how it is with your body, but you can certainly say, probably with me, that you're aware of it. You're aware of a body. And sometimes that's easy, sometimes that's hard, sometimes it goes all the ways. Now, there are some new insights that I'm going to share with you after we have talked about time and memories. So that's another part. For the rest, I have a miracle principle that I love to share. Maybe I'm going to start with that, because that is such a basic idea where this whole time idea shifts. And that's maybe good to have that in the back of your mind while listening to the other, listening to the other ideas I share. So in the prayer that we just listened to, or say were total part of, you could see like time becomes a meaningless belief, and place becomes like silly. When you say feel that you're surrounded by the love of God, you could care less where you are, or you could care less about what time it is, when it happened. It's like, no, you want to experience that above all. So it's almost like immediately an invitation to go out of time, out of your time consciousness. So there's some new aspect to discover for sure. So I prepared some sheets. I try to keep it short with say, diving too deep in it, because that's also not necessary. So like I said, I'm going to need your logic in a moment, but I first want to read the miracle principle. So here's the one I like to share. Oops. That is the miracle principle here. No. Miracle principle. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seems to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past, Now listen to this. They undo the past in the present and thus release the future. So they undo the past ideas, the past memories, the past, whatever you hold on to that. You lose that in the present moment by, say, allowing the miracle to occur. And thus you release the future from your past memories, from your past ideas, from what happened before, what seemed to have happened before. So I'll read it one more time. It's like miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seems to go back but really go forward. They undo the past in the present and thus release the future. Now see, here might be something that you recognize too. It's like which seems to go back but really go forward. Now I don't know how that is with you, but for me it is like there's still like older and older memories coming back into my consciousness. Like I have no idea where they come from. They're suddenly there, and it seems like, am I still not done with that idea, or this or that? I can have all kinds of ideas about it, you know. And here it says really like it seems to go backwards, but it really goes forward. So it's like it is so upside down in your experience of yourself as a human being or as a temporal entity that seems to be a temporal entity, and that you miss actually what is going on. So at the same time, you move forward in time by undergoing this miracle. You could say time collapses because you let go of past ideas. And past ideas are over, you know, they're over, they're gone. And now here's where your logic becomes really helpful to me, and I hope you want to think with me. So it is like, okay, so yeah, the past is over. We can confirm that, right? The past is over. Yeah, it can touch me not, it says in the Course. Like the past is over. We love that idea. It liberates us from ideas, from all kinds of memories that we carry with us from the past that we rather not take another look at. So, and that's perfectly all right. Now, what is the logic here? It's like, so the past memories are over, but are just some of them over, or are all of them over? So in which temporal ideas about yourself are still present now then? Like none of them, right? None of them. Like none of them are present right here. Oh my God. So this is a huge change. So you look at yourself as an, say, as a so-called human entity for just a moment. You see that you've been born, you've been, say, thrown on this time sequence, on this timeline where you were born as a baby. You climb up and you grow and you go through your ordeals, and suddenly you're, say, an adult. Then maybe you get kids, maybe not, maybe you do this or not, and suddenly you grow old, you're 80 or 90, and it seems to be the last of your days, and that was it. You know, this is a time frame memory that is held on to, like as an objective reality, as if it is really there and you don't doubt it. Now, what we just said was the complete opposite. All past ideas are over. All ideas you can hold about yourself, what can you say about it? They're all over. Do they still exist right now? Nope, they're not. So is there such thing, you could say, is there such a thing as a body walking around in this timeline, arranging all things, being busy and all this? Is that the case? Is that you? No, of course not, since that is an old memory too, a past memory of yourself, over and gone. Now here it becomes very interesting, but because so what is left of you then if you're not that, if you're just yeah, it appears that you were a bunch of memories holding on to it and trying to remember them and not forgetting them too much. It's like, oh yeah, I was 2 years ago, I was there, and 5 years ago, I was doing this with them, and I lived there, and all this. So you try to keep up with it, and you make your objective. Say photo album of it, you make your little blog about it, or whatever happens for you to remember that that was an occurrence once. Now, what can you say about something that is over? Is that still alive? No, there is your reasonable mind asking a question. Is what is still over, or is what is over still alive? No, it's not. So it's like, so you're actually, say, trying to reanimate death, like reanimate past memories. Is that what I'm actually doing as a human being? Bringing those old memories back in as at least some kind of making of myself, as in, say, identity. Now you think like, why are you, say, doing this? Why are you sharing this with us? Why are we sharing this today? Why are we taking a look at this? Now, you have heard, it has been said, it's like raising the dead. Now, what is the dead then? Raising the dead. Raising the ones that think that they have to live in memories, in past memories. That is raising the dead. It's like how remembering actively yourself first, of course. Remembering yourself that it is over, it is gone. It cannot touch you, even though you might not believe that right away. That might be a delightful idea, but it can still have an effect on you if you believe so. So here we have a tremendous spiritual healing perspective, and that is none of that has any life to it. When I bring this actively into this present moment and try to reanimate it with some new fresh juice in it, I'm still trying to bring to life what does not live. And so what is so amazing by that is that the human nature, as you know yourself too, it's like the human nature is to hold on to those memories because you have used them to literally build an identity, to be something with a history, to be attached to at least some person, some places, some matter, some money, some relationships, some who knows what, some possession, just to make that real for yourself. Now, when Jesus said, leave your nets, this is a big one, of course. It's like, well, leave these old nets of association. Leave these human associations for what they are. Try not to bring them back into this moment, because this moment, is the moment of you allowing a miracle with a creative ability to literally show you there's something else going on, and not just something else, there's pure communication going on and you're a whole part of it. Now all these memories didn't want you to hear that, but the present memory was whispering to you, you're surrounded by the love of God. Come unto me. I and my Father are one. It is happening in this moment, not anywhere else. Just leave whatever you think you were behind. Leave every idea that you hold about yourself behind. Say, open your heart and open your mind, open your hands for this brand new moment in which there is presence, creative presence, like in this moment presence, and that will fulfill you, that will sustain you, that will give you everything that you cannot find anywhere else, but you are still looking for it there. So allow this one moment, and then you can do whatever you want. Allow this one moment to let that occur, to leave your past memories for what they are, and just be with completely open hands and see what happens. You know, like this. See what happens. Well, that is that is the, say, of course, the offering of every meeting that we have, in fact, because otherwise we would be repeating the past and trying to do the same thing as always, thinking we're living on a timeline. In fact, say, rejoicing in the death and celebrating death. There would be no use in doing that. Like, there's enough of that. And it is over, it is done. It is, yeah, this is our alternative. So I really love to share this with you. And it's so reasonable, isn't it? If you look at it in a time perspective. This is also to do with time. I said I would. And this is a tough one too. But that's why I bring it in. It's like great stuff to contemplate and to let yourself, be taught by. At no single instant does the body exist at all. It is always remembered or anticipated, but never experienced just now. Only its past and future make it seem real. Time controls it entirely, for sin is never present. In any single instant, the attraction of guilt would be experienced as pain and nothing else, and would be avoided. It has no attraction now. Its whole attraction is imaginary, and therefore must be thought of from the past or in the future. Well, that makes sense, right? So its whole attraction is imaginary. It must therefore be thought of from the past or in the future, but you can never experience it right now. So why is that? Well, in the now, so to speak, you have a shift of the horizontal into the vertical state, in which you literally say, have an experience that has nothing to do with the body at all. So we come to that later. So it is never experienced just now. Time controls it entirely. Okay, so this is a really great one. So there was another one. Yeah, here it is. This is also a real, nutcracker, I would almost say. Like, the body exists in a world which seems to contain two voices which are fighting for its possession. In this perceived constellation, the body is regarded as capable of shifting its control from one to the other, making the concept of both health and sickness possible. The body exists in a world which seems to contain two voices which are fighting for its possession. In this perceived constellation, the body is regarded as capable of shifting its control from one to the other, making the concept of both health and sickness possible. Well, I thought this one needs to be here too. It's like, wow, can you believe this? How beautiful. How great to discover. So now we're going to go to my, where am I? Yeah, oh yeah. So here we are with our healing expressions. So I chose some with an idea of time. Accept only the function of healing in time because that is what time is for. Accept only the function of healing in time, because that is what time is for. Healing in time is needed, for joy cannot establish its eternal reign where sorrow dwells. You dwell not here, but in eternity. You travel, but in dreams, while safe at home, surrounded by the love of God. Give thanks to every part of you that you have taught how to remember you. Thus does the Son of God give thanks unto his Father for his purity. So by your remembrance of where you really abide, you give thanks to your Father. By you remembering it. You don't have to say thank you, but you have to remember it. That you're surrounded by the love of God, and having that as your experience. In that way you give thanks to your Father. Until you see the healing of the Son as all you wish to be accomplished by the world, by time, and all appearances, you will not know the Father or yourself. Until you see the healing of the Son of God as all you wish to be accomplished by the world, by time, and all appearances, you will not know the Father or yourself. So one exception. So we come back to the idea of true perception again. It's like the whole idea of true perception is this then. It's like one exception held apart from true perception makes its accomplishment anywhere impossible. You know, as soon as you make one exception of it, it's gone. You're not all inclusive, you could say. So there's a bit of work to do, right? So that's what time is for. So are you living in time? Yes, I do. Yes, we need time for healing. Like, that's what time is for. That's perfectly all right. Like, you didn't do anything wrong by realizing that time is needed. So that is where we're here for. That's why we are in this spiritual healing perspective class, to speed that process up, to make us even more aware of the fact that this is what time is for. Because we need a bit of time to do that. Realizing that this is happening, that this is the only thing happening, without exception, despite all appearances, like inclusive of all appearances, not excluding anything out of that, recognizing the oneness and, say, completedness of it, and remembering that. So this is such a lovely activity. It was like, that's so great. So to give this away, really great. You want to do that, to remember it yourself. Like, I'm totally happy to do this, just for me to remember this myself, because if I forget, make one exception, I feel bereft, I feel deprived, I feel depressed, I feel fearful. You know, I feel like something is not working out here. So this is one of the miracle principles too. When miracles do not happen, something has gone wrong. Yeah, I made an exception. I made an exception, and there isn't one. Like the miracle, as an, say, active remembrance of the present moment, has no exceptions. The love of God is all exclusive, or it is not. You know. So this is. Yeah, you cannot hear this often enough. That's what I love about this. Like, it's happening now. It has nothing to do with the past. There's no exception to it. Yes, it works in every situation. Yes, despite all the things that you think you see, it is still working. It is still active. Beyond all of that is still the love of God. Wait, watch, let it change. Allow this miracle to happen. You know, give that to the whole situation. That's the least you can do. You know what the good thing of it is? It's a beneficial to everyone involved. And especially, yes, you. Since you created the world that you see. You know, since you are the source of what you see. So this is great stuff. So I'm having a couple more expressions that I love to share. Healing in time is needed, for joy cannot establish its eternal reign where sorrow dwells. Like, hello, wake up. Healing is to heal is to make happy. So that joy does not have an opposite. So when the joy isn't complete, nothing is going on. There's no healing happening at all. Okay, so let me see. We had this one. We had this one. Oh yeah, so here, just as forgiveness shines away all sin, and the real world will occupy the place of what you made, so healing must replace the fantasies of sickness which you hold before the simple truth. Those who are healed become the instruments of healing, nor does time elapse between the instant they are healed and all the grace of healing it is given them to give. Yeah? Nor does time elapse between the instant they are healed and all the grace of healing it is given them to give. Love that. So you're only giving to yourself, and those who are healed become the instruments of healing. When you experience healing, you start to shine your joy, your happiness into the world that you made. And you start to heal. Like, you cannot be healed alone. You give this away. You will not be able to stop yourself from doing so. Okay, so reading one more, the miracle principle one more time. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seems to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present, and thus release the future.